Okay, and we're back. So I've measured out 2 ounces of water, and what I'm doing is the instructions for number of molds to fill of 1. So I'm going to fill the cavern floor accessory mold, and I've put 2 ounces of water, and I've gone and put 187 grams of Merlins Magic into this red solo cup. So if you want to know, that's you can kind of see it in the shadow and how full it is on there. So the directions say 186 grams on the website. I went a gram over. I think we'll be okay with that. So what I'm going to do is mix this up and set it up to pour, and I'll be right back. All right, right now we have mixed the water and the Merlins Magic Dental Plaster together, and it seems to be mixing up pretty good. Just using a popsicle stick to mix it with, trying not to introduce too many air bubbles in here. So what I'm going to do now is prepare the mold. I have a huge spray bottle, because this is all I could find in Home Depot, was the smallest size I could find, of some of the jet dry rinse agent, a few drops of that in 15 ounces of water, and I'm going to spray the mold down really good and tap it out, and set the camera up on the tripod, and we'll start filling. All right, right now I have prepared the mold. Put a few good sprays of the wet water into the mold, and right now I'm positioning it. I'm going to put it up on the vibration table and then start my pour. So I have my tripod stuck to the edge of the tray because there's apparently a metal ring that goes around the cafeteria tray, and so it's holding the tripod, but it's not going to hold it high enough to where you can see absolutely the whole mold at the same time. I'll try and reposition it as I can. Alright, so at this point I'm going to turn the mold on. I'm going to glance at my time. It is 2:27. And we'll see how this goes. They say you want to pour along the edges of the openings and not directly into the openings. So I'm trying to do that the best I can while working around this little tripod, which I may have to rethink this idea. But so far it's pouring in nice. And overfill, because we will be scraping this off. And based on, I'm going to go ahead and make up another mold real quick, because I have plenty of solution left. So I just spray the water in there and I'm tapping it out. And I'm going to put that over here. And I'm just going to kind of hold this in my hand. And we'll start pouring. And this is the cavern floor mold. So we'll see how much of this I can get filled up. Yeah, these blocks are going to end up being a little short, I think. But I should be able to get some blocks that are usable out of this. So pretty happy with how the table's working out so far. It doesn't seem to be shaking any of the stuff out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to set this off the table, and we'll start the timer. Okay, I'm back. This is setting up really quick on here. I mean, it's supposed to be the consistency of toothpaste, and we are just under 7 minutes in. There's hardly any water on the top, so what I'm going to do is take the scraper, put it at a 45-degree angle, and just pull back and scrape across the top. and I shouldn't have paused halfway through there. So I'm going to put the camera down for 1 second and pull over the top of these. I've pulled across the top, and I think waiting 7 minutes was probably too long. So first cast, first blocks. I'm sure months from now I'll look back at this and laugh. But so I'm going to wait. We've been in now just shy of 10 minutes. If you look over here, the stuff that's on the table, I mean, it's setting up pretty quick because there is hardly any, it's getting really hard to move. So I'm just going to let this stuff dry out. Another tip too, don't clean your knife blade off above the molds. That's what those are. Those are little droppings of plaster. Over here, it dried so fast and it got so thick on this side. If I pulled any more, I think I'm going to end up pulling the block right out of the mold. So we'll go with this, and at around the 15-minute mark, 17-minute mark, I'll come back and we'll pop them out and see how they look. All right, we've hit the 15-minute mark. Observations from the first cast. This stuff dries super quick. The videos I've been watching on YouTube, I've been seeing people cast with a dental stone, I think it is. And I don't think that stuff sets quite as quick as this. And I think it also says that on the Hirst Arts page, that the set time for this is about 15 minutes. Now, this stuff isn't really usable yet. It'll need to sit overnight and air dry. But I'm going to pop a few of these out and just take a look how they look. They always say that your first cast of the day, because these are all covered, they come covered with talcum powder. And so I took them out of the bag and rinsed them off to get all that talcum powder out of there. But they say that your first cast, that's pulling any residual powder that may be in there out. So what I'm going to do is just flex the mold a little bit. You can see it pulling right away. So I'm going to take one of the blocks and turn it up. And there's one right there. It's got good side striations. So let me take a look at the door. Yeah, that's nice. That's what I want. And if this is my first cast on here, I'm pretty happy with the way that looks coming out of the mold right now. So hopefully it's only upward from here. There's a couple little imperfections, I guess. I don't know. I mean, this is a wood knot. It's a wooden door. It should have some knots in it. So, but I don't see any huge obvious air bubbles in there. There's, if you look way down in here, but hey, it's a gaming piece. So I'm going to pop some more of these out. Another floor piece. The chest. Let's see how the chest came out. Top looks good. Only one little bubble right there. I can live with that all day long. Yeah, this is nice. This is really nice. So, pop out some more of the floors. All right. I am really liking it. So we're just going to continue to pop this stuff out. So more pieces for the floor. And actually, what I'm going to use to dry these on overnight, I'm going to use a baker's racks. I have a bunch of them in my cabinet. They're inexpensive. Walmart, Target, any of your big shopping stores that you might have, they're cheap. They're just wire racks. That'll help the air get under these blocks, help them dry out a little bit quicker on there, because you can't see it. I'm sure you can't see it in this video, but you can see when it's drying how it's a little darker in some spots on there, so there's still moisture in it that needs to dry out. And oh, the wooden planks. Alright, so there's our first fragile bit. So those broke when I'm doing that, so I'm going to have to experiment a little bit with taking out these fragile pieces, but that doesn't mean that they won't glue together if they need to. Yeah, I'm actually breaking a few down here, so yeah, they say there's a certain order to take things out of the mold, so I'm beginning to believe that. There's like half of a fire pit ring. So this right here, that should be the gold pile, or coin pile. Block, another block. Alright, so that's actually a two-piece block. That'll still be salvageable with a little bit of glue. And then these are all these little pieces of bricks. Column. That looks nice. Yeah, very nice. Okay. Now the mold, give it a twist. I'm going to pound it off to the side here, just tap it, but you can just give it a rub, you know, and give it a smack a couple times to get all the loose plaster off, and she's ready to go again. So now here's the actual the floor tile mold. So I'm try and think about. Yeah, see that one cracked right in half in the middle, so let the other one sit a little longer. The next one I might let sit longer and see if that helps with taking these big pieces out. So I'm gonna try and gently get that one out. That came out nice. And that's pretty nice. And here's the ones that got a little thick, but that's nothing. That a little bit of sandpaper on the bottom. I mean, just a touch, and that'll be the same size as the other blocks. Then these are the floors themselves. All right, that's the other big one that came apart right there at the seam. So, yeah, I'll work on that. I'll cast that again, and we'll see. But right now, I'm pretty darn happy with what came out of there. So I'm gonna clean this up, sort some stuff aside, and like that, and load it back up and pour the cavern accessory mold. And I'll probably pull the cavern floor mold again. So we'll back in a little bit, because I'll be back when it actually comes the time to pull this stuff out. So be back.